What's up, guys? Foxwolf here. To be honest, guys, I've gotten a lot of comments, likes, and I have. But before watching the likes and other things and comments and dislikes, mostly on my last video, I've seen some somewhat downfall. Before I went on my channel, logged back into my channel because I always log out of my YouTube channel a lot before reading my comments, and so I have watched back my documentary of Boogie 2988 a few times. And guys, the time when I made that video about I think people should respect Boogie 2988 more, I only saw the documentary only once, just once at the time. And and guys, I think every time I watch documentaries about things, whether it's depressing or serious or matter of supernatural, it depends if it's paranormal, ghosts, Bigfoot, or even depressing videos like this, I don't pay attention to it. But when I get into it, when I look back at the documentary like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times, and then I start looking at it and then paying attention to it more closely, I get more into it a lot more. And I've seen this documentary like 7 times now, and I've been looking back at it once in like 6 hours, even when I'm in bed or this or that, and even though ever since I made my video Boogie 298 like a couple of days ago, and we'll make it now 3 days or so, I just felt like it was more than less depressing. And looking back at it, guys, I don't know about Mike Klum, his name, Mike Klum. Um, Considering that, like, I do find it weird that everything that he says about how Boogie tells him everything in this video that it's so depressing, but how would Mike Klum know that the stuff that he's saying, even if it's depressing or not, is true? Like, I do believe, guys, like guys, before Boogie got divorced from his original wife, and then he said that, oh, he didn't know how to handle the financial things, this or that, and how his wife took care of that and such. I believe in him. I believe that. And guys, he's suffered a lot. He's suffered depression. He's suffered this. And I'm sure there's times that he has tried to come forth, because every time on the internet, when people make bad things about him, there's truth to him trying to make us feel bad about him. But it just seems like watching this documentary over again, I just don't know. I found a few red flags, and it's like that moment at 11 minutes and 45 seconds when he went to a pawn star or something, or pawn shop or something, to sell his old deck cards like he had in the mid 2000s during the start of his YouTube channel, like he had for 30 years, and he tried to sell them to this guy. And they had this camera where one person's this way, this is Boogie, and there's another guy, and they're talking. Like, it just seemed like it was a work. It was a working act. And then he tells Boogie, oh, wait, these cards, oh, man, they're not expensive. Oh, they're only like a few, like $100. And Boogie just making, oh, are you kidding me? I had these cards for 30 years. They should cost a lot more money. Oh, the financial thing. Like, I don't know. I just found that to be a working act. I even found the acts to be more dumber than ever, because like for instance, at 29 minutes of the video, when the health counselor said that he needed to get a job, which I'm going to get to that in just a minute actually, and then at 29 minutes and 30 something seconds, he talks to a woman in an appointment talking about this or that, and again they have that camera where one person's sitting on one side and the other person sitting on the other side, and then there's a camera person filming the woman's back of her head on Boogie, and then the same direction on. And I just seemed like it was too much of an act. I know documentaries do that, but it almost reminded me, it was like friggin' Duck Dynasty or Pawn Stars, or that pawn shop show that's not like Pawn Stars. It seemed like it was a working act. It seemed like they weren't taking it seriously. It's like, and then, like, don't get me wrong, some of the information of Boogie 2988's life and other stuff in his controversy is true, but are we trying to have to feel sympathy for him? It's like there was even one part, like 10 or so minutes later, when he finally realizes he's dating a 20-year-old girl, and he's 49 years old, and they're like 29 years difference, and they're doing this or that. Oh, it doesn't bother me if he's actually a degenerate or something. Oh, I'll do it for him. But I don't know. It just seemed like, yeah, it's like if Boogie 2988 dies sooner than later, like, she's gonna start suffering for her life. And I think that was like something like I found it real because it just seemed like no, she I don't think she should. She should just leave him. Like I just found that really bad to look at, and it just gave me a headache. Even the first time when I saw it, it gave me a huge headache. And then looking back at it more and more, I realized something's up. Something is up. And the stupidest part, guys, at 37 minutes of the video or something like that, when they were dating and they went to a night at a comedy show, and one of the comedians, a bald moron out of nowhere, I don't know, a bald guy with a beard, same thing as mine, but bald with a white shirt and I don't know if he was wearing pants or not. Just he sees this big fat dude say, "Oh, hey, are you a YouTuber?" And Boogie just says, "Yes, well, I have 4 million subscribers." No one, and then he jokes about this woman next to her. It's like how many people in the audience that day knows who the frig this fat dude is? I just and this bald guy is just making. It's almost like that South Park episode where Randy said the N word on Wheel of Fortune, and he tried to have sympathy or this or that, and then he went to a club, the same thing, and they were just laughing at jokes, and then this black dude says, "Hey, yeah, you're that N word guy from the Wheel of Fortune. Hey, what's up, man?" I don't know. That just seemed like the same thing as this Boogie 2988 documentary. I just didn't I just don't understand. And guys, I'm not going to talk about the end when he went to a fire camp to talk to a person right now about, oh, he's going to eat this, drink water, and then he's going to give him a spear and he's going to have to stay calm for 15, 20 minutes. And then he feels better because, guys, I don't think that's like Boogie 2988 or Stuart Williams is not a born again Christian. My father and I, like my father had to recover from his stroke he had back in 2014, and we're born again Christians now. I just don't see that Boogie knows what he's doing. If Boogie knows, and guys, I do find it interesting looking back at it, I'm thinking us, the viewer, because it seems like the only thing we're paying attention to is his financial stuff. Money's going up, money's going down, money's going down. And guys, there's one moment I really didn't like. It's like now he's betting $10,000 for a boxing match against Wings of Redemption. And then when he loses the fight, he gets 10,000, but guess what? Cornerman, oh, hotels, food, expenses is all gone. I just found that very, very hard for me to believe that that $10,000 purse he had was gone. Almost like how or how Sonny Liston fought against Chuck Wepner months before he died, and he had a $13,000, and the rest of it was for his trainer Cornerman and everything else, and then he had no more money left. It was just to pay off for all the other stuff. I just feel like that's what it looked like, but I just found that really hard for me to believe that the $10,000 he had just disappeared. I just found that very hard to believe. The one thing I found that looked fact was at 23 minutes when when Mike Klum invited a mental health counselor um, to analyze his videos, and then he tells him this or that about how that just seemed like that. Those were the only 6 minutes of him talking about the stuff, this or that, and then they said, "Oh, how are we gonna get his viewers back?" And you can just get a job. Hey, he doesn't get a job; it's a waste of time. So, guys, the conclusion of this video is I do respect Boogie 298. I really do, and I don't care how many people are gonna dislike my video. To this day, I don't understand. Like even one guy in the comments said, "Why should we respect someone who can't respect himself?" Don't get me wrong, you're not wrong, unless if he's doing it for money, it's hard. And guess what I said to him? I went over and and this is what I said to him. I replied to this person in the comments, and this is what I said to him. And I said, and I quote, "Answer, how do you know everything about Boogie 2988? You're not God. You and I don't know everything about him. He's 49 years old. He's had a divorce and doesn't know how to handle money problems. after his divorce, and over half of the stuff in the documentary looks like a work, which that's why I just sent the video. How do you know everything about him? He's suffering. Are you trying to treat him like Fatty Arbuckle? Because why are we doing that? And just to let you viewers know, Fatty Arbuckle is the first ever silent film actor that was involved in a controversy in the Hollywood where he was framed for murder or something, and that left him as a black guy for the rest of his career and his life. And his name was Roscoe, Fatty Arbuckle, Roscoe, and he was also the same big dude as well in his career. I just feel like Boogie 298 suffered a lot. He's lost his mom. He's had a father that was a drinking type person suffering. And I guys, don't get me wrong. You're not wrong. How can we respect someone if he can't respect himself? Keep this in mind, guys. Boogie is 49 years old. He's almost 50. And guys, the main reason I made that video is because of myself, talking about how my life is suffering. And I think people have to understand the other people are suffering through this as like he is. And it's not of the documentary, but some of the stuff that Boogie did say was true. And that was the reason I try to put that in, because I want people to understand me more, just so people will understand about my past. And I think people have to understand that. Because guys, if you don't respect yourself, then don't. I do respect myself, but how should I know that you viewers are respecting me? That was the point of me uploading that video. And also, I was afraid that Boogie 2988 is not going to live forever. Like, he's suffering. Like, he wakes out of bed. He's already suffered. He's already had problems with this or that, even after his divorce. So I can understand why he's going through this horrible stuff. He can't respect himself. He's alone. His old friends are trying to protect him, but why would you have those people that were in the documentary that we saw him on his YouTube videos? Like, why should they stay with Boogie a lot, even though I'm proud that they're trying to protect him in his final days in life, because we're not going to live forever. But it is hard when you're trying to do that, and I think that was really hard for me to do, because the most important thing was I was just trying to make this video just so we won't have another incident of someone dying sooner or later. Because guys, years and years ago, I thought I thought Stuart Williams was gonna die before Angry Grandpa did, and I really did mean that. I actually really thought he was gonna die first. Like, Boogie is a 400-pound person with so much, and talking about him paying money for sex workers and this or that, that was really hard. So I think it is hard for someone like him to move across that level to understand, because I just think it was just really hard for me to actually see the real truth about him. And to be honest, I really don't know everything about Boogie, because like I said before, only God knows everything about what's true and what's not true about what Boogie's saying. Do I believe he's going to heaven? No, I don't believe he is, but should we ignore him until he dies? No, we shouldn't ignore him. His videos he did in the past, and his legacy and his Mountain Dew are going to live on forever. His old videos will always be watched by more people that don't know much about him, until other people start knowing his new content. There's going to be reasons why. Like, guys, keep that in mind. There's enough people out there that we have to be careful of. But here's my question. It's not respecting the person, but it's not ignoring him. Because if you ignore a YouTuber like Boogie for the rest of your life, he is going to keep causing more of this type of stuff for the rest of his life. And I think we have to be by his side before things get worse for him. And he might do bad things. And that's the same thing as Elliot Rodger. No one cared about him. No one ever did care about him. And those 3 roommates that got killed by him, they deserve to die because no one cared about him. And that's the whole story. So if we ignore him the same way Elliot Rodger did, Boogie 2988 might cause more problems. And that's why I want you people to know. I'm not ignoring Boogie 2988, and I never will until he dies. There's some good in him, but he's not a bad liar or character like Billy Mitchell, Todd Rogers, or Hulk Hogan, or even LeBron James. But Boogie 298 is somewhat into that level. So I think we have to be careful. Don't ignore him. Never.